So, how's it been so far, like, setting up and practicing, preparing for this gig?
Dave.
Oh, is that on me?
Yeah, it's on you, Dave, I'm afraid.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Well, we had a couple of band practices over the past couple of weeks, just preparing for it. So we can get the best sound and get a couple of new songs in for the people tonight. We've been really looking forward to it, haven't we, as a band?
Just trying to put you off, sorry. That's all I'm trying to do, is just because I know they're taking photos, so I'm just like, what? So the entire time, every time you're speaking, it looks like you're saying something really stupid.
Well, I have to do this again.
No, just keep going, it's just wrong. One of the big questions is, what has been your guys' favourite moment over the last, obviously it's your 10th anniversary, what has been like your favourite moment of the 10 years? You might have a few, but what has been the highlight?
I think, for me it was when we played Thunderstruck and it was actually thundering and lightning. That was one of the high points for me, definitely. We swapped the set around, it was starting to thunder and it's starting to lighten, and there was everybody outside, weren't they?
We're in the middle of Bad Boy Boogie, aren't we?
Yeah, and then
the breakdown bit.
We swapped the set around to get Thunderstruck in while it was still thundering and lightning, so that was
absolutely fantastic, that. On the back of a truck.
Yeah.
And it was thundering hard.
Yeah.
How did you guys actually meet, and how did the band kind of come about?
So I started the band originally with Pete, who's sadly no longer with us. And we carried on for about a year with a different band, but we didn't actually go out and do any gigs. One of them sadly had a bad motorcycle accident, so we packed it in for a while. And then when we started up again, we went out and did a few sort of auditions for different drummers. We did settle for a different drummer originally, but he dropped out after a couple of rehearsals. And then Paddy came along, and he just fitted from the beginning. And he's been brilliant ever since, and I wouldn't do without him.
He's making me cry. It's a terrible moment.
And then Andy joined soon after Pete passed away, and he's been with us for a long time.
Yeah. Easily the best singer in all of them as well. Yeah. Definitely the best singer in any ACDC tribute.
Definitely. And Dave's been with us for the last 4 years.
Yeah, since 2018.
We've had a couple of Angus's before that, but he's slotted in really nicely, and he's going on from strength to strength.
Why did you guys actually come about using ACDC? What made you not want to do any other band or something like that? Why ACDC?
We weren't very good musicians, generally. So
you just have to learn one song and repeat it over and over again.
Basically it, and that's what we did. And then find someone to scream over the top, which is exactly what we found. No, I answered the ad on joinmyband.com. I remember that. Because I thought it was going to be simple, and simple music usually is the best music to play, because it's the easiest music for people to get on board with and to enjoy themselves with. And I knew when we played, actually I wasn't quite sure, but when I played with Neil and Pete and our bass player as well, Steve, who isn't here, he's never here though, is he?
No, he's
not. Awful thing.
Probably on a cycling ride.
He is, yeah, he's a disgusting human. But when we played, I thought it was actually, we sounded really decent. We sounded really, really good, and we had something quite special. And I think, and then when Andy joined, it was something else. We went into a different stratosphere. And then when Dave joined as well, it was like, they're all steps on the same journey, but you're getting faster and faster. Yeah. And now we are hitting top speed. We're doing really well now. I think we're beginning to get there. Yeah.
So obviously you've been performing for 10 years, and I bet obviously we've just discussed your highlights. If you had to pick one song, this is a question for each one of you, what's your favourite song to perform when you're up on the stage? If you had to pick one song just to repeat, what would be your individual favourite song?
I'll start this one then. I personally think as a band, the song that we do the best and I love performing is Bad Boy Boogie. It's just that breakdown bit, and we all got our own little segments to it. And it's just one of those songs that, every week slightly changes, and you don't know what's coming. I think we've just developed it in our own way, as our own song, based off the style of the ACDC Live. Yeah. But for me, personally, as a guitar player, Bad Boy Boogie. And unfortunately, I have to strip in that part.
It changes for me every week. It always depends on the audience, to be perfectly honest. But I think Thunderstruck, I really enjoy playing Thunderstruck when we nail it properly.
Yeah, I bet that night when you got the proper rain and everything.
Yeah, but we also, I think my favourite one actually of all that, going back to that original point, was Peterborough Beer Fest when we did that. And when we played Thunderstruck in there, you know, the place rocked. Yeah, it did. It came to life. It really did. And I think that's probably one of my favourites. Least favourite is Back in Black every day. Because it gets so boring. It's just so monotonous to play. What about you, Neil?
I think I'd have to agree with David on this one. It's Bad Boy Boogie again for me. It's the longest one that we do. It's been on for 12 minutes. I think the longest one we've done on that one. But when we all come back in the breakdown in the middle, and it just makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up every time. So for me, it's that one.
Personally, it's Shake Your Foundations, as you all know. We never really play it, though. That's the trouble. No,
you do sound pretty good on it, though. I think you're the only person who sings it really well.
It's all about me, that song, you know. No, Night Prowler for me. I think where we do Night Prowler, and whenever we play it, we have a cracking night every time.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Should we play Night Prowler tonight, then?
Is that a podcast exclusive?
Yeah, let's do that.
Just sing it now. I'll just hum along.
Do Shake Your Foundations now. We've got some bongos I can see in here.
What's your favourite thing about performing in front of crowds? What is
Making Paddy grease up some point in the gig.
Yeah.
That's my entire mission.
Yeah,
I don't care about anything else.
Yeah, Andy makes me laugh like nobody else. I would say my favourite part about playing in front of people, but playing as a band, is playing with these four. Every single time it is playing with these four. After 10 years, I don't know about you guys, but after 10 years, especially you, Neil, it gets monotonous. It's the driving, it's there's a lot of hours in it that you don't see, the setting up and everything else, but as soon as we sit behind our instruments, we're different people. We never see each other, but we've been together now 10 years, and even people that have slotted in, I think there's something at a different level, I think, almost entirely a different level of playing together when you've been playing together that long. And even if we're playing someone else's music, it doesn't matter. You're playing with your mates and you're using it as an excuse, you know, to call yourself like an established live act, and you're not. We've got massive imposter syndrome. Someone will figure us out soon. But when we hit it and when we look at each other and when we smile, it's the only time you can make eye contact with another man and for it not to be weird.
Yeah, I mean, we've had stand-ins, haven't we, over the years? Never seems to gel as well as the five that we've got now, I don't think. Just it's a chemistry thing.
It is.
Somehow.
It's elemental, isn't it? And I've known Andy for years and years and years. And
We've played in bands together for at least 20.
Yeah. But it's never as good as this. And Dave, we've been lucky, I think, with the Angus's we've had. I think Dave was by far the best one. And oh my God, the bass player is here.
Yeah.
Yes. It's about time you turned up.
Let's address him properly.
Oh, sorry.
It's Cornish Pirate Fagin.
Yeah, I've got the bandana for tonight.
This is Steve, everyone.
Hello.
So, Steve, I asked these guys earlier, what is your favourite song to play live when you're on the stage? What would be your favourite?
Come closer to the mic, Steve.
I like Riff Raff.
I forgot about Riff Raff.
Yeah,
Riff Raff. I really...
Down Payment Blues.
Why? Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one. Yeah.
Heat Seeker, I really like that one at the moment. Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones, isn't there? Really?
There is, yeah. But there are.
All of them, mate.
All of them.
Yeah, we'll say all of them.
That's an amazing
Generally,
answer, yeah. This is kind of a weird question, but what is the weirdest thing that you've ever had to do for a gig? Like, maybe whether it be on stage, what is like the kind of weirdest thing that kind of actually worked for you? Have you ever had a moment like that?
God, that's a good question. That's a really good question.
I've got one.
Go on.
The whole PA went out on gig while we were mid-song. I stopped playing. These lot carried on and extended the song out while I went and repaired the equipment while they were still playing.
Organic Club.
Yeah.
And then
We had a
fixed it,
that night.
picked up my guitar, came back into the song, and then we finished the song. So yeah, that was the weirdest one for me.
That was a few years ago. I think
Yeah.
Alex.
Any of you got any other moments that you'd say?
How about you, Dave?
Oh, off the top of my head. Not too sure. It's always a bit weird. I have to dress up as a schoolboy every night, you know? It's not usually something I do. It's usually a schoolgirl.
Oh yeah, there was the time then that you got accosted by a member of the public.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. That was interesting. I got someone came onto the stage, and it's just after like the typical Angus strip routine, and she sort of basically, I think she grabbed the guitar and she was like, "What are you doing? There's children here." And I was like, "Well, I'm not really. I'm not showing all my bits and my pieces, you know, all my tackle. It's just a t-shirt." I said, basically, you know, you see people like that at the beach. So it's not really any different. But yeah, that was a few years ago.
She got chucked out, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
Kathy remembers that.
Yeah.
And I think one personal question that I really want to ask is, have you ever stage dived off one of your gigs?
I fell off a table.
You have landed on your face several times trying to get back on the stage.
Yeah, that's happened. Yeah.
Without missing a note, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, well,
From my perspective, it's really hard to stage dive with a drum kit. So,
Keep your dream will
so
be.
no, the answer's no. Fallen over a few
reality.
times, haven't I? Fallen over a few times.
If Steve tried it, they'd all part, wouldn't they?
They would part, yeah.
They'd let him
They'd be
fall on
like,
the
kill
floor.
him.
Yeah.
End him.
You're probably
closest thing to stage diving. Not really. I've done that. We've had a few people. Security guard at one of those. Was it the Penny Theatre? I think it was. And he put me on his shoulders and went round the audience. So that was quite.
And we never saw him again.
No. You don't want to know where I was taken.
Not so much coming off the stage, it's usually people getting on the stage that's our problem.
Yeah.
I have a good resistance to hold people back with their head. They get too close.
Do you get that a lot then? People just
mate. Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
One lady licked me on the face, didn't they, during the middle of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go,
I can't let it go. It's
you're an
horrible.
ACDC tribute, and you'll get some woman coming up going,
Excuse me, do you play Summer 69?
and you're like, no, we don't. Why don't you go away? We're in the middle of a song.
Alright, I'm sorry.
I mean, thank you guys so much for this interview, and best of luck for your performance tonight. It's from what I've heard in rehearsals, it sounds amazing, so it's going to be a really good gig.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really kind of you, mate. Where have you been, anyway?
I was here earlier.
You're on a bike
Well, you
ride,
weren't here
weren't
just
you?
when we were about to do this. We've been chatting to this
No.
lovely young man now for
No,
like
we got
3.5 hours.
We got held up in traffic.
He's done 30 miles on his bike.
Now help today.
And then Kat turns up and she's all giving
Yeah,
it this when we're trying to talk, you know? You just
He's always
awful,
done
isn't
that
it?
for the past 10 years. Actually.
Dave, stop crying. Hey, you were mega. Well done. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.